Welcome to the battlefield, my warriors. This is DarcsenOfLegend, and I am here to talk about my favorite games of E3 2013. Yeah. So, there were a lot of games that I was interested in, both from the PS4 reveal and also from E3. Now, for those of you saying only PS4, yes, I am like, if you guys have talked, if you guys have seen my impressions video, I'm not a PS4 fanboy, nor do I endorse the console wars, but the Xbox One is crap, so I'm going for PS4. Even if the Xbox One was good, I was going to choose one or the other and not buy both, and PS4 is what I'm going with. So, PS4 games, what are my favorites? Like I said, a lot of them I liked, including from the reveal, but I'm only going to talk about a few of them. And even fewer than that are going to be in depth. But yeah, so here we go. First one I'm interested in. I guess this is worth mentioning. I'm interested in Knack, which I believe was at the E3 conference as well as the reveal. The reason I'm not going to talk about it too much is because it didn't particularly impress me too much, but it, like I said, it didn't, I guess not impress me. It didn't pique my interest as much. But the reason that I'm mentioning it is because it looks like a good game. It really does. Just because it doesn't interest me as much as the other games doesn't mean that it's, you know, I think if Knack was introduced to me separately and not with the other games I'm about to mention, I probably would have been more interested and more excited about it. That's why I want to mention it, because I don't think it's something that should be just, you know, pushed to the side. I think it's actually something that should be kept an eye on, because it could be a really good game. The other one that I was interested in from the reveal is called The Witness. That game is supposed to be a puzzle game, and in an open, like, sandbox kind of world. And the interesting thing was that they actually talked about how they condensed the sandbox world to as small as they could make it, rather than making it as big as they could, because they wanted to minimize the amount of time that the player was doing nothing. They didn't want to have filler time between areas, so I didn't get to see too much. They only showed really a small trailer, but according to them, you can probably get within a separate area within a couple of seconds, I think, maybe a minute or so. And but even so, there's a lot of different areas, a lot of puzzles they were talking about, and they said that I think they fit in about 25 hours of gameplay into that thing, even as condensed as they made it. So I'm really interested in that, not only because of the strange twist in making a sandbox condensed, but also because I like puzzle games, and there's not enough of them out there that I know about. I'd like to play more, and you know, so when there's something newer and more fresh, something that hasn't been done over and over and over again, I'm really interested in trying that out. So, The Witness. As for the E3 conference, like I said, a lot of games, I could probably list almost all of them, except for the sports games. I'm not really much for sports games. I'm okay with playing sports, just the games don't really do it for me. But anyway, but the ones that I was really interested in, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. For those of you that don't know, for a while Kojima was kind of trying to troll us and make us think that it was another separate game, but it was pretty obvious early on that it was a Metal Gear Solid game, and it just took the cake when they showed the first trailer and they had the main character's mullet showing. It just, nobody but Snake has that mullet. Well, let's just put it that way. But it has been revealed since then to be Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, a continuation of Big Boss's story, most likely after Peace Walker. And oh man, I really want to play Metal Gear Solid for you guys at some point, especially Peace Walker. Peace Walker wasn't my favorite, but it's in the top 3, and it was an amazing game. But Metal Gear Solid 3, which was the first real story where you took control of Big Boss, that was amazing. That's my favorite game. So I'm really glad that they're continuing Big Boss's story. And the interesting thing is that It seems to be centering around supernatural things or illusions at the very least. I'm not really sure which it is, but it's it's centered around a lot of supernaturally looking things that have a lot of fire around them, and it looks really cool. It's also separated into two games: the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Both of them, according to Kojima, make up the same game, but Ground Zero, and both of them are full-size games, but Kojima said that Ground Zeroes is serving as the prologue or the prelude, so to speak, and then Phantom Pain is actually going to be the main course, apparently. So I'm interested in both, but I'm especially interested in the gameplay mechanics. Interests me as well. It's actually an open world this time. It's not, I mean, Metal Gear Solid was never linear by any means. There were many places you can go, but it was more sandboxy than anything. But apparently in this game it's open world. You can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. And they have a few more additions. Like you can take control of vehicles, and there was one section that they showed where you were on a horse or a donkey or something, and you actually stealthed by like slipping onto its side and out of the view of soldiers that were passing by on a road. That seemed interesting. They have a new dive mechanic where if you need to like dive behind a wall real quick, you just like make a dive. But most of the gameplay seemed reminiscent of the Metal Gear Solid series I know and love. Particularly, it looked very Metal Gear Solid 3-ish, which, you know, I don't really think that the stealth in between the different games felt too different, but it reminded me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 3, and that makes me happy. So I'm interested because they're definitely moving forward with making changes to the series, and I want to see how that works out. The game definitely looks good. I have no doubt it will be an amazing game, but I just want to know if it's going to actually feel like Metal Gear Solid anymore or not. Next game I'm actually interested in a lot is Kingdom Hearts 3. I went absolutely ballistic when they announced that game. It's been such a long time. I think when was Kingdom Hearts 2 released? 2006 or 7 or something like that? It's been like 6-7 years in the making, and they're finally doing it. They showed a very short trailer, and they only said it was in development. I don't think they actually gave a year it was supposed to be released. If it is, I think it's not at least until 2015 or 16, I think. Maybe 2014. I don't know. I don't really remember, but all I know is that they only showed a small trailer, so it could be very well that they're just starting to make the game and they just decided to make that trailer right off the bat, and they actually haven't really been doing much with the game yet. It could almost be finished being developed. It could have been they could have started developing it a while ago, and they may still be far off, but they might be far well along. I don't know. They could be anywhere as far as the game development, but I'm glad that they're making it. It's finally happening, and I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to be the conclusion, because I feel like the series has been going on a long time, and I don't want it to turn into another series where they keep trying to make new ideas but it always flops. I want them to end it while it's still good, and they already have so many games, like I said. So I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to be the conclusion to the series, and before it may mess it up. So I'm excited that it's coming out, but I want it to be the conclusion. And my fear has been reinforced by Dream Drop Distance. I watched the entire playthrough since I don't have a 3DS, and it was good. The gameplay was good. The storyline was good too, but the story didn't make much sense at all. It was like Inception, but it didn't make sense, kind of thing, And in Inception, you even had to pay attention, otherwise you wouldn't know what the heck was going on. But yeah, so Kingdom Hearts was like an Inception that didn't make any sense. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, sorry. Inception that didn't make any sense. And a lot of people say that the story's lame all around, or that it doesn't make sense all around, but I understood it. I did. So, but Dream Drop Distance, it didn't. So I'm afraid now that the story is going to stop making sense, so I want them to end the series off before that happens, Anyway, And yeah, I kind of just talked about Kingdom Hearts there. Not really much info on that, but they're making it. I'm happy, and it looks gorgeous. At least the trailer does. Oh yes, and the last one. The last one I'm especially interested in the most of all is Infamous Second Son. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the gameplay or the trailers for that, but it is amazing. Oh my goodness. The gameplay and the graphics look so crisp. So far, I think that is the best looking game on PS4. So far. Well, actually no. Deep down, the Capcom project that is most likely Dragon's Dogma, but hasn't been confirmed yet, that's the best. But the second best is Infamous Second Son. And not just with the graphics, but the gameplay. The core things I look for in a game, and not really so much as graphics, but you know, graphics are always a plus, is gameplay first, story, and then also originality. And Infamous, I mean, you know, it's been done before, superhero games, sandbox games, people with powers and stuff, but Infamous does it in a way that feels fresh to me. And from the looks of the gameplay and the trailers, they've really outdone themselves by adding new gameplay mechanics and ideas and enemies and things to interact with. It just looks really good. And at first I wasn't even sure they were going to be able to make a game centered around Infamous and make it work, but apparently what they did was they actually saw out of the fans who did what the most for Infamous 2, which was the last game that they made in the series, and it seemed that most people had taken the good path because it's karma based. You can either be a good person or an evil person, and then story events and especially the ending is affected by however you play. And it seemed that, actually, before I go on, Infamous 1 didn't really have much of a different ending. Infamous 2 had drastically different endings, though. So it seemed that Sucker Punch decided to adopt the good ending as canon, since most people chose that. And I'm so glad for that, because as I took the evil path as well to see what happened and to see how interesting it was, but I by far am a good person. Like, I love being the hero. I hate villainy. I mean, I like a good villain, a good opposition, but I like the hero the best. I like it when good wins out, and I'm glad that they made the good ending canon. So they're going along with that, and that's kind of how they made that game. And the idea behind it is that they also have the main character, Delsin Rowe, who is, I believe he is partially Native American, or is Native American, and he gets like these powers randomly, and the government's kind of taken over and started like executing all these people that have powers, thinking that they're trying to overthrow the government or whatever, or something like that, you know. And basically he just likes causing havoc. He doesn't like the authority, so he just, you know, uprises and stuff. And I'm sure there's deeper parts of the story, because Infamous, both the games had quite an awesome story. They really did. But yeah, so I'm really excited about all those games, Infamous especially, and yeah, so that's my 2 cents. What do you guys think? What are your favorite games for PS4 or Xbox One? I don't really care. It's just about the games right now. What games are you guys most excited for? Post in the comments. What do you guys think about the games I'm interested in? Yeah, I guess just anything you can think of, games, whatever you can think about the games for E3, I'm down with it. Just post in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. It was a pleasure talking with you, and I will see you next time.
Showtime! Face attack! Down! Yes! I'm motivated. Rest in peace. Combo KO! Player 1 wins! Be gone.